The story on how the night came to life. A mythical story created by Gigi/AK Girl Writes. A long, long time ago, 100 years ago, a 16-year-old girl fell in love with another girl named Olive. The girl that fell in love with her is named Alex. Her and Olive feel the same way with each other, that they both loved each other ever since they were kids. But at the other end of Oa's parents hated the fact that their daughter was in love with another girl and wanted her to be normal and a perfect child. So one day they were hanging out with each other, and others as usual, but then Ola's dad showed up and says, "Olive, why are you hanging out with that girl?" he asked her in a very rude and concerning way. And Olive says, "But Dad, I love Alex, and you should not talk to her that way." She tells her dad, as her dad grabs her hand and pulls her away, and tells Alex to stay away from my daughter, girl lover. He tells Alex and takes Olive and says, "We are going home, and when we get there, you'll be grounded for talking back to me." While Olive's dad is stroking her hand, Alex runs to her dad and says, "Please, I, I love Olive. Please give us both mercy." He asks her dad, and he says, "How about get out of my way or else?" as she slaps Alex in the face and knocks her down on the ground. When they both got home, the mother goes to Olive and slaps her in her face and asks her, "Why are you hanging out with that weird girl? You know, you cannot love girls." Her mother demands as Olive looks at her mom angry and in tears and says, "You know what, Mom? You both do not control my life because you both do not know what love is. Do you both?" She asks her mother, as the mother says, "Olive, I no, I need to say, no need to say anything, Mom, okay? If you guys do not care about how I feel, then you do not care about me you do not know me at all," she tells her parents as she runs to her room crying. Her dad says, "Never hang out with that weird girl again and be normal." The father tells Olive as the mother looks at him with an angry face, slaps him, and tells him, "I hope you're happy now." Sarcastically, she tells Olive's dad as she runs to her room and cry in despair. Meanwhile, the mother of Alex, that is a witch, brings her home and asks her what happened. What happened? Why did I see you on the ground?" Her mother asks her, as Alex tells her, Olive's father came and called me a weird girl and grabbed Olive and took her. I tried to stop what's happening, but her father pushed me to the ground and told me to stay away from her. She tells her in despair, tears, and her mother was outraged and said, "What?" At Olive's house, she started crying in her room and said, "Who needs them if I can start being me and love the person who I want to love? And that I love now and will always will love." She says, "You know what? I'm gonna run away because what's the point of living here if my parents want me to be someone who I'm not? I will love my parents for wrong and they will regret it, that everything that they did to me." She meant that the fact that she will prove her parents wrong, she says to herself, and she starts to pack up her things in her backpack and carefully sneaks out the house and opens the door. As she goes through the door, her mother comes to see her leaving as Olive thought she was going to yell at her or ask her where is she going. She hugs her and gives her a necklace in tears. Olive in confusion, asking, "What are you doing?" she asks her mother. Just as her mother tells her that she was sorry and tells her that the reason why she acted that way, she did it because when she was a little girl, she also fell in love with another girl, but her parents slash Olive's grandparents separated her from the girl, and she fell in love that she fell in love with by sending her to boarding school and told her to never come back home until she starts acting like a normal girl. When she got back home from boarding school, she tried to get back to her, but her own parents told her Crush's parents that if they do not move to another state or country, they will destroy them. Olive was shocked with no words and said, "Mom, I've had no idea that you've went through all of that when you were a kid, and geez, your parents are horrible," she tells her mother in tears. But her mother wipes her tears straight off her face and says, "It's not your fault, sweetie. You had no idea what happened there, and I never told you that at all about what happened to me because all those years ago, you should go now. I'll tell your father that you got lost and that I can not find you anywhere." "But what about you, Mom? And the girl that you fell in love with?" asks her mother. She tells her that that's not to worry about right now. You should go to Alex and make sure that your father does not find you. Please just go, okay? She tells Olive as she agrees and tears as the mother gives her a final kiss on the cheek. And they hug each other and they said their final goodbyes for now. And her mother said, "Now go quickly." Olive's mother tells her as Olive starts running straight toward the way where Alex lives in her house with her mother. It took hours to get to her crush's house, but finally she got to Alex's house and she started to knock on the door. And after she knocked on Alex's door, Alex's mother answered the door and said, "Olive, it's actually you. Are you okay?" Olive starts to tear up as Alex's mother, Jasmine, lets her inside. And they talk, and Olive tells Alex's mother all that what has happened. Alex's mother approaches Olive and hugs her and says, "I am sorry that it happened, and it happened so fast." Olive wipes off her tears and said, "It's not your fault. You never knew that this would happen to me at all. Do not ever blame yourself," Olive tells Alex's mother, as her mother says, I know it's not my fault, but I want to make sure that you're okay." She tells her as she puts her hand on her shoulder and tells her, "Look, you can stay here until you get back up on your feet, and I will make sure that your mother is safe. And your father, I will never get near you two ever again." "Thank you so much, ma'am. I do not know what I would do without your help, or without the help of Alex either," Olive tells her, and she gives her a big, bright smile and says, "You're welcome. I want to make sure that I help other people, and that others and you and your mother are okay. Me too, not just myself at all." Alice comes to Olive and gives her a kiss on her own cheek and said, "From now on, you're with us. So, well, we'll have to get to know each other Alex said, as Olive gets blushed and said, okay, for now on, let's forget about the past and move on with our lives and be happy together. So, from that point on, Alex's mother brought Olive's mother with her to live with them, and they lived their lives. And, and Alex and Olive started to get closer and closer to the fact that they became girlfriend and girlfriend. As days went by, they started to date each other and hang out with each other. And with their mothers, one by one at a time, all the time. One day something exciting happened. Olive came to Alex with the news that would change their lives forever. Alex, Alex, Olive tells Alex, and Alex asks, what is it, Olive? She looked at Alex with an exciting face and said, guess what? We are going to have a kid together because I tested myself with a pregnancy test and the results came back positive. Olive tells Alex and her face lights up with joy and asks, oh my gosh, really? And Alex says yes, as the two girls lit up with their faces in joy. And months go by, they started to be very careful with their new baby. After 9 months, Olive gives birth to a beautiful baby girl called Midnight Alex. As days went by, they started to notice that their daughter has powers. Once she activates it, a dark sky will come. So one day, when Midnight Alex grew into a teenager, she had came up with an idea to create something that people will see in the even that she created all nighttime. So she created something that people can see at night, called the moon. As months went by, their family are happy. Even their mothers are happy to have their own granddaughter. But then one day, Olive and Alex and their daughter happened to meet someone that they moved on from. Olive's dad bumps into her and said, "Hey, were you go? Wait, Olive, is that you?" He asked. And Olive said, "Yes, Dad, it's me. And what are you doing here?" Her dad asked her, and Olive said, Olive's dad said, I'm just shopping in the store with Alex and our daughter." She tells her dad, and he was shocked by what he just heard and asks, "Wait, you and Alex have a daughter?" So that means, he says, as Alex cuts him off and says, "Yes, she's her granddaughter." "Wait, I have a grandpa?" Midnight Alex asked. As Olive said, "Yes, sweetie, this is your grandfather." She said as Olive's dad says, "Oh wow, I can't believe it. You guys are all grown up. And I am a grandpa," he says, as he looks at Olive and says, "Olive, I just want to say that I am really sorry on about how I treated you and your girlfriend Alex," he said. Olive said, "I forgive you a long time ago." She tells her, and Alex asks Olive's dad, "If you want, Peterson, you can come to us anytime you want and visit us and your wife and your granddaughter." And she says, as Peterson says, "Why? Even though it was horrible to you," he asked Alex. As she said, "Well, everyone deserves a second chance, and I also forgave you a long time ago." And she said, as Ola's dad, Peterson, said, "Thank you so much." Alex tells Peterson, "No problem, just make sure you treat everyone the way you want to be treated," she tells him. As her father said, "I will, I promise." So that moment forward, Peterson starts to visit them, and then whenever he wants his wife to forgive him and on from the past. So she forgave him. At first it was hard, but they were able to work that out. So they divorced each other, each other's happiness, each other for their happiness. They live happy, but one day, Olive's mother meets the girl that she fell in love again, so they started dating again and got married. They had a boy named Jojo, and the other one that's a girl named Sunset, which are Midnight Alex's aunts and uncle, young ones, and siblings. If Olive, by time, passes on, Peterson meets another girl that he fell in love with and started dating each other until one day they got married, and now they have twin girls named Sabrina and Maber. Everyone gives a happy Everyone lives a happy life, and Alex's mother, she has love of her own, and they even got married too, and now they gave birth to a girl named Galaxy Alex. For many years they lived happily ever after forever, and never have to worry about any bad things happening ever again. The end. I'm sorry if part of this cuts off, but this is a story that I made during last year. I think like before 2020 started, or maybe during 2022. No, I meant like before 2022 started. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification button so that way you won't ever miss any video that I post. Make sure you do the same thing for JJ. He works very hard for his videos, and I would appreciate it if you would subscribe and turn on that bell for me and JJ, including Saber and any other YouTuber and Technoblade, to anyone else out there. And rest in peace to Technoblade, and God bless to any friend and family member and fan that ever knew him. Rest in peace, Alex. I'm your host, Girl Rights, and I will see you in another Anything video. Bye.